All right, so cool. So welcome everyone, and I think you all know Kelly Falcone from Palomar. We're so grateful to Kelly to jump on and show us all the things that we need to do with our files and how to make them into things. So with that very formal introduction, I'm going to turn it over to Kelly to do her magic.
So, but real quick before we get into all the steps, I do want just a little bit more clarification of the expectation for what you want to learn today. I think it was about how to upload materials, how to create a curriculum, and then how to assign a curriculum to your employees. Is that
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So like once we have the files or know what we need, like how do we assemble it properly and what tips and things should we know in order to create those things?
okay? And then for the material, do you have specific materials in mind that you needed to load?
Um, I'd like to talk about SCORM and then video files, which I know we're going to also talk about in the next one, but just sort of address those
Okay.
in general.
Mhm.
Links to Canvas courses,
Okay.
as something, and then anything else, y'all? I mean, I guess maybe just like something simple like a article or something,
Yeah,
just so we have that covered.
video,
But
YouTube video or something.
yeah,
Perfect. YouTube's okay. Cool.
cool.
All right. So let me share my screen. And again, as always, ask questions as we go. Stop me anytime. I want to make sure this is as valuable for you all as it can be. So I'm actually going to start from a curriculum that I just created recently because I think it'll give you a good example of how you can combine a whole bunch of different learning objects into one curriculum that you assign. So I'm going to show you this one. This is a curriculum that we created for our new trustees. So this curriculum contains, I think it's like 36 learning objects in it. It's really big. But it's much better to assign one training to our trustees that contains all 36 objects than trying to assign 36 objects to our trustees. So we feel like, this is probably a little bit more doable. So what you're seeing on here this is the curriculum player. So you can actually create curriculums in two ways. You have to actually turn on the curriculum player, which puts it in this nice format. If it's not turned on, the curriculum plays out of the learning details page where you'd go on like view training details. So you always want to check that box. I'll show you where that is later because it's one of those things I forget to do sometime and then I launch it and go, whoops, and I go back and turn it on. So what you're seeing, this is a really big curriculum. It has several sections, so you can divide curriculums into a section. So like this section right here is the Brown Act and Parliamentary Procedure, and then we have community college programs, Palomar programs and policies, diversity, equity, inclusion, CCLC trustee handbook, and then personal and professional skills. So what you're already seeing there is that curriculums don't have to be one huge list. You can break them up into folders, or if you were thinking about this in terms of Canvas talk, it'd be like creating modules in a sense in Canvas. So if I come back to this Brown Act, remember these icons on the left-hand side tell you what type of learning object it is. And if you see the folder, that means it's a material learning object. And a material learning object can be things like a PDF, a PowerPoint, a link, and that's what you would use to link to a Canvas course, let's say. This one right here, a guide to the Ralph M. Brown Act, that's a link to a document that's on the CCLC webpage. So I put that in as a material because we wanted to take them to that guide. So that gives you an idea that you can actually link out to documents. So like if you had a document that you wanted to share and it was something you owned, I would prefer putting that in something like Google Docs and linking to that versus uploading a PDF, with the purpose being that if I see that there's a spelling error or something, I could easily fix that Google Doc and I don't have to update this material. Whereas if I loaded a PDF and realized I made an error, I have to re-upload a PDF again. So that's kind of one of my kind of efficiency tricks that I use even in my online class. I link to all Google Docs that give me the opportunity to revise those as needed and not have to re-upload them.
And you could do the same with like a OneDrive document. It doesn't have to be Google because we use 365.
Exactly, but be cautious on 365 depending on your settings. So like for us, a document shared in OneDrive can only be shared within our district. A
Yeah, we have
document
to just
loaded
check a
in
box.
SharePoint, I think will allow us to share it outside of our district. So I've been kind of working through the share settings of 365 lately, trying to figure out the best way to use them, but
Okay.
yeah. But if it's something that's just internal, it's fine to link for us anyway, because we're restricted. These next ones are just YouTube videos. So I loaded these YouTube videos on Robert's rules using the video learning object. So that's another learning object we have in the system. So the video learning object, it has a YouTube player built in. So you just take the YouTube video link, you paste it in, and then it plays right there. So if I go to launch this one, you're going to see the YouTube video pops up right here. It's very simple to do. The video LO also allows you to upload a video file, but there are file size restrictions. So I think it's better if you're going to use the video LO that you link to a YouTube video. Then you can also, so you can see this one up here, I'd already launched it before. We require a signature on video learning objects. So video learning objects, when you play them, you'll notice I have a mark complete right here. So video learning objects, the user tells the system when they've watched it. So there's obviously the opportunity for me to just launch it and go, mark complete, done with this one, and I may not have watched the whole thing. So that's why we choose to add an electronic signature on it. And that's what you see right here with the sign. So you do that in the course catalog. You can just check a box that says, I'm going to make them sign it. And when they sign it, it says, you know, I certify that I actually completed this and watched it. So I know you were talking about SCORM as well. And last time we met, we talked about SCORM. So when you have videos, you can either load them this way through a video learning object, or you can also turn your videos into a SCORM file. The difference in the way that they behave in the system is that a video LO, as you saw, I can just mark complete and be done with it. May not have watched the whole thing. Whereas a SCORM file is when they would actually have to watch it all because it sends completion data back to the system. So if it's a video that you really need to make sure that people have watched, it might be better to load that video as a SCORM file and just upload it as an online class. And I'll give you an example of how that has worked with some of the chancellor's office content as well. So they've loaded some videos as SCORM files so that once you watch them, they auto-complete back to your transcript. This next one, community college programs, these are all the online courses that the system has provided to us. So you can see how I can add online courses. So, you know, online courses, these are all SCORM files. Palomar programs and policies. So this is a course that we created at Palomar on BPs, APs, EdCode Title V. So that's an online course, a SCORM file we loaded. And these other materials, these are links again. So we just wanted our trustees to at least link to and go look at our board policies and administrative procedures and our institutional research and planning website, our Palomar Pathway Mapper. And then this is a video, Intro to Palomar Professional Development. So that's a video that we made that just introduces them to the PD program at Palomar. So I hope this gives you a little bit of an idea of what the end goal is, right? So if you get to this end goal of creating a curriculum, just know that you can create this curriculum, you can add sections, you know, you can make it really robust. You can also have no sections in it and have it just contain 2 learning objects or 3 learning objects. So it depends on what your need is. The other thing that I want you to notice in this one is that when my trustees come into this curriculum, they can click on any of these and they can launch anything. So this one has purposely been made so that there's no linear path of learning in here. They can go in here and they can pick and choose what they want to complete at what time. You can, however, create a curriculum that has a linear sequence. So you can tell the system they need to read this first before they take this course, before they take this test, before they, so you can tell the system to go in a specific order if that is the purpose of the curriculum you're assigning as well.
I have a question.
Sure.
So can you do like an intro and a conclusion, and then in the middle do those nonlinear, or does it have to be one or the other?
Great question. You absolutely can. So what you would do then is you would order the sections so that the sections have to go in order. But within the section, you say no linear, so basically once they open the section, they can do whatever they want, whatever order, but they had to have gone to the first section first, then the second, then the third. Great question, Sally. Yep. Okay, so hopefully that gives you kind of a look at what the end goal is to get to.
Sorry, can I ask you a question also?
Sure.
What's the advantage of having it here rather than maybe in Canvas? So
good question. Yeah. So there's a couple advantages. We kind of talked about this, I think, in our last meeting. So when I look at the difference between Canvas and Cornerstone, so there's absolutely times when I think it's going to be very purposeful to build a learning opportunity in Canvas. For example, we do that for our online training course for our faculty. We want them to take the class in Canvas because part of the class is experiencing what it's like to be a student in Canvas. Now with that one, I have an instructor on that course. She's grading all of the information. She's responsible for ensuring that when somebody registers for it through our PD portal, she actually tells the system when they've completed it. So there's a lot of work that goes into utilizing a separate learning management system for the course versus once this one is set up in here, as they start going through all of this self-paced training, everything auto completes and tracks back to the system. So it's not as much work for you as the kind of lead, because once it's set up, they take the training, it auto tracks back. If this was set up in Canvas, I would have to go over to Canvas to identify, okay, did you complete this trustee section? Did you do all of these things? And then once they've completed it over here in Canvas, then I would have to come over here to Cornerstone and say, yes, they're done. Because again, part of what you wanted to talk about today is assigning training. So Canvas, you don't have an assigning training function. Right? Your employees would need to go register for the course in Canvas, correct? Because they're not all automatically, is everybody automatically registered as a student in your courses in Canvas if it was a professional development one? Ours isn't. So they actually have to go and they need to register for the course. So that takes extra steps for the person. And you can't basically assign it and say, you need to go do this training. Whereas in Cornerstone, it's meant to be a professional learning management system. So it has the ability to assign. So I can assign this to my trustees. I can follow their progress right here, looking at a report, and I can see whether they've done it. And I can utilize Cornerstone for things like if there's a due date on an assignment, Cornerstone will send them reminders based on that due date and will tell them if they're overdue as well. In Canvas, you're not going to have that unless you're doing it yourself again. So that would be the manual, like message students who, and things like that to remind them to get something done. So it's just extra work. But I always say, I think it depends on what the purpose of the learning is. So for instance, for the diversity, equity, inclusion training that you all are creating, I think using a curriculum is a better option because once you get it created, you then can assign it to all of your employees. They have it here, they complete, it tracks back completion. And so the system manages it for you versus doing it in Canvas and needing to manage it there and then figure out how to know, has everybody completed it? Because that's the other thing too. I can easily assign this to all of my faculty or all of my trustees. And then any new faculty that come in can be automatically assigned to the training versus having to compare back in Canvas, which is what we had to do for our online training. It's like we pulled a report of faculty, we pulled a report in our Canvas course, and we had to continue to compare them to see, okay, who is a faculty member that hasn't completed it yet. So it's just extra work. Sorry, that was a long response, but.
So can I just ask a follow-up on that?
Sure.
But it is possible to, in here, assign a Canvas course,
You
right?
can.
So if I create a Canvas course that's faculty are allowed to self-enroll in, I can actually put that Canvas course as an object inside of a training this way, right?
You can, absolutely. So that's like how we have our Palomar online education course. So this is our online education course. When they launch this, this takes us directly to Canvas. Let me just change my screen share. So for instance, I just clicked that one and it launched directly into our Palomar online education training course. They do all of it here. And then when they're done with it, they click a button on their transcript and Cornerstone that says notify observer. And the observer is my DE coordinator, who is the main instructor for this course. So it just takes extra work for her because she has to grade in Canvas and then wait to get the notify observer, come back into the portal, click the complete. And then again, the challenge we had was, you know, Canvas isn't getting all of our employee data and it's not updated all the time. So we kept having to compare reports from Cornerstone, which shows us all of our current faculty, to our grade sheet in Canvas to identify which ones had completed, so that then we could pull manually email addresses out to remind people. So again, I think you just have to think about it in terms of like what really is the purpose of the training. For us, for the online training course, that's absolutely worth the extra work because we want them to take a course in Canvas as a student. But if it's something that they're completing on their own time, then I think there's value in creating it as a curriculum in Cornerstone, where that management of the learning and the sending of the communication would be handled within the system. You know, that's what it's meant to do or built to do. But good question. And sorry, it's a long explanation.
All right, thank you.
There's value in
Appreciate
both. Yeah. Okay, so
Uh-oh. You're frozen, Kelly. I don't know if she can hear us.
She froze.
Come back to us, Kelly.
Yes.
Come back. For those joining us at this point, Kelly is frozen and gone. She'll be back.
I'm sure she'll be back. That was a good question about that. I think that that's what a lot of people were wondering, and that's why what we were wrestling with a lot recently. I'm going to pause the recording. Okay. Can you see now? Can you see the screen or no? Did we lose
Yes.
Kelly again?
Your beautiful seascape.
yes, I can see it, Shannon.
Okay. Oh, you're seeing my seascape? You're not seeing my VRC stuff?
We're seeing your desktop.
Oh, for God's sake. Hang on. Sorry, here we go. Well, that was recorded. Great. All right, here we go.
There we go. Okay. All right. So I think we left off, so sorry about that, with just how to add different learning objects. So
Oh my God.
Shannon, if you can.
We might as well get all the glitches out of the way today in terms of Zoom meetings and
Does anyone want to flush their
I
toilet
know,
on
right?
their audio while we're here?
I have
Anyway.
not. I've tried to be careful.
I'm just watching the impeachment trial. Sorry.
I know.
Oh, I want to watch that. Okay. So Shannon, if you're on your screen, I want you to go to Admin, Tools, and Learning.
Got it.
And then we're going to go to Catalog Management.
Okay.
So this is the page where you can see all the different types of learning objects we can add. So you can see on this page, this is where you would click to go to the curriculum to create the curriculum. But again, you have to make sure all of your learning objects are already in the system before you create the curriculum. So you could, if you had ILT to add, you would have that. Materials, and so go ahead and click on materials, because materials is really that kind of catch-all one, and this is what you can use to, like I showed you before with our poet course, this is where you would link to Canvas courses. So materials, if you have PDFs, links, any type of thing like that, you would use a material. And with materials, typically you would add a material and the user themselves would mark it complete. And that's kind of what I was showing you before too, with that mark complete button. You can also set it up to where it has an observer who's required to complete. And that's what we do with our Palomar online education training course, where I said that they have to actually click a button that says notify observer. And when they do that, our DE coordinator marks it as complete. So there's kind of that extra step and oversight to make sure that they actually completed the course before they get credit for it through professional development. Do you all have any specific questions about how to use the material learning object? Have you had any challenges with it?
I've never done it before.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't think we've really used materials, so.
Okay, so if you're seeing on your screen right now, so Shannon went ahead and said to go ahead and create a material. So they're actually pretty easy to create. You put the title of it in. So if it's you could put a manual, things like that, you would put that title in. So I see that Shannon's got some titles that had popped in before. And then you select the material type. So is it a document? Is it a website? We actually have Canvas course in there as a material type as well. So there's a pretty big drop down on different types of materials that you can select from.
So I have a question. If we make a video from a PowerPoint, as we were talking about in the previous training, which one of those would this be? Would we would leave it in YouTube, or if we wanted to upload the file in the transcript?
So if you want, so what I would suggest not using a material for the video. I would think of materials more as documents and websites. You can link to a YouTube video here, but I think it's better to actually use a video learning object to do that.
Got it.
So why don't you just select website for this one, Shannon? And we'll just show how you can put a website in here. For a provider, you select your provider, and then here's where you tell the system, how much time does this person get for opening this and looking at it, and then you can type your description in. If you're using keywords, you can type keywords in as well. So keywords are helpful on the admin side for reporting, because you can actually report on your keywords. So some schools who are very strict about what people are allowed to complete for flex credit use keywords for that, and they'll say flex eligible or things like that, and then they can pull that report. So you put if you did use keywords, you'd put that in, put in the language. If you use credits, you can do that as well. You'd select the subject. And then where it says material source, that's the most important part for a material, because your material source can either be something you upload or be a URL. So notice that that's where you change it, whether it's an upload or a URL. So that's like, I kind of almost wish material source was really highlighted in here, because that's really that's the meat of it. That's where you're telling the system what to point to for the learning. And then if you've turned on the Title V category, as you all have, you would select that as well. So just notice that you can either do a URL, you can do an upload material.
And this is different than uploading a video. So I don't know. I think some folks may have
This
tried
is-
uploading videos through here and found this limit of 50 megabytes to be
yeah.
restrictive, because they were trying to upload,
Yep.
recordings and videos. So we'll have to show folks where to do the video upload. Is this a separate thing?
Perfect. Let's do that one next, Shannon. Let's go to the video LO
Okay,
next.
so everyone's good
one
on
other
this. I'm not
piece
gonna
on
say this.
Yeah,
Oh, here's
materials
the,
are pretty simple to load. And that bottom part, see where Shannon's hovering over on the requires on-the-job training completion? That's what you want to check if you want to have that second level someone come in and say, yes, they completed or not. So for example, that's what we do with our DE coordinator in our online training course. We have that selected. We choose not manager, not observer by provider, but observer by OU. And that's what allows me to select a specific person. So my DE coordinator is who we select because she's the one who has to tell the system whether somebody completed it. So that's how you add that kind of second level on materials to make sure completion was done. So if you want to cancel out of this one, let's go to the video LO so I can show you the difference between these two. So now the video learning object, what I like about it is that you can directly use YouTube videos. It has a YouTube player. So Shannon, if you go ahead and click on create a video course. So you'll notice here's where you can either upload a new video. So that's where you find your file, and the file size max is still 500 megabytes. So it's not super big, or you can embed a video. So I really prefer to put the videos on YouTube and then paste the YouTube URL right here. So if you want to actually go to YouTube, Shannon, and grab a YouTube URL, and we can paste that in, and you can see that Cornerstone will recognize it immediately, and it will pop up in a preview screen for you.
You can see all the failed videos my kids watch. How great. Oh my God. Oops. Here, let's do this one. So I'm just gonna copy
Actually,
this.
the video, this video is actually bigger because on the other page it was only 50 and this one's 500. So.
Exactly, it's definitely bigger than the material page, yep.
Okay.
So if you paste that in and then click embed, and you'll see it pop up right there. It should pop up in your preview screen under it. There it is. So that's what's, so if you are using YouTube, this is a better option. I do suggest linking to YouTube rather than uploading videos. You know, it also ensures too, you can caption the video in YouTube, you know, unless you're using hard-coded captions into an upload video file, you know, then it would be okay. But if you need to rely on a video service like YouTube to caption, it's important then to link to that video.
And that's what we're going to talk about in the next training is all that, like what to do with your videos. So, but does this track how long they've watched it and whether they've completed watching it if you embed it like this or no?
So video LOs, it's also a mark complete. So that's what I was showing you on that trustee curriculum. So it works the same way as a material. Both of them, the user has to mark it complete. It's not going to automatically track that completion back. That automatic tracking of completion is done through a SCORM file of what we talked about last week.
What about Zoom recordings? Does that work the same way? Like if you record that Zoom video?
Yeah, so Zoom recordings is a great question. So first thing to note with your Zoom recordings is that Zoom isn't meant to be a video storage platform. So we need to keep that in mind. So if you have recorded something in Zoom and it's a recording that you want to keep for a while, you really need to get it out of Zoom. You know, previously our Zoom recordings and under the CC Tech Connect umbrella, they used to automatically delete after a year. So they've been a little bit more lenient on those lately, but it's really best for us to get out of the habit of linking to Zoom recordings that are Zoom recordings we want to hold on to for a while. So that's the first caveat to take into consideration. So rather than, you know, because you could use a material learning object to link to a Zoom recording, but again, I think the preference should be that you get them out of Zoom and you get them then loaded into like your own video storage platform like YouTube, because then you have control over that recording.
And we're going to go through that more in detail in the next training, Angie, which is in 2 weeks. Is like, what the heck do I do with all these video recordings? But it's good to sort of get a preview right now, what Kelly shared with us, but it don't want to take us too far down
the next one. I'll show you how to get those out of Zoom, how to load them to YouTube, how to fix your captions in YouTube. And then you would do what we're doing right now, where you could then just take that YouTube link and post it into the video LO. So that's the easiest, I think, strategy to get it in here. And as I showed you in that trustee curriculum, what we do, because it is a self-mark complete, is we make them actually sign their name as well, certifying that they watched it. So that's kind of our extra step to make sure that they put the time in. But ultimately, it's not going to track the time. It's not a SCORM course. It doesn't have that capability. So the screen that Shannon's on right now, here's where you just put the basic information about it. So what's the title of the video, the description. I typically usually just take that directly from YouTube and I'll paste it in. It wants to know how long the video is as well, and the provider. So essentially you're just adding this to your catalog. So something to note on this screen is it works a little differently than a lot of our other training where you don't have availability on here. This is an older learning object in the system. So once you get this loaded, just remember you do need to add availability. That's what makes it available to your users. And you do that through the course catalog. Does that make sense? Because it doesn't have availability there. So you just have to remind yourself that you would then go to the course catalog to add that availability.
And to do that, you
So
just
you would
go
search
in here
for it.
and you search for it. Yeah. And then.
Exactly. And that's where you can add that signature as well. So if you want to, if you click on any of those, that's where you can get into that nitty gritty and figure out the different settings for all your training. So you would just go in, you would add the availability to make it available to people. And then you can also check the box for the signature if you want to have a signature for completion.
So this is the course catalog. You just find your stuff and open it. And this is also where you would change training images and all that stuff. It's all here.
Exactly.
That's a playlist.
Yep.
That's not.
Yeah. So once you get all of your learning objects into the system, so you've got those videos in or you've linked out to things, and so you have all your items in here, that's when you would then create your curriculum. So if you go to Learning Again, Catalog Management, and then go ahead and click on Curriculum. So you give your curriculum a title. So if you want to just do maybe a test curriculum. So you kind of add in all the basics and the subject. And then what's really important on this page is check that box next to curriculum player. So that's what gives you that neat curriculum player that you saw before. So you have to make sure to remember to check that. And then if you have training approvals on this, you would put the approvals in. Otherwise, go ahead and select next. Oh, it wants you to put the vendor in. Availability, you could leave it blank for now, or I would leave it blank for now actually, because you don't really want anybody to find this. So remember, if you put availability, they'll be able to find it. Then you can tell the system, for this curriculum, do you want to use the default emails or no emails? So similar to what you would have seen adding an ILT, and then click next.
And that's where you can customize reminders and all that, right? For
Exactly.
your curriculum.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then this is just, talks about pricing, so you can kind of skip over that one. All right, so now here's where we get to the page that is the most important part, because this is how we tell the system what is in the curriculum. So if, Shannon, if you scroll all the way to the right and go ahead and hover over these buttons so you guys can see the different things that they do. So that first one you see, that's the section. So when you saw that curriculum I showed you earlier, those are the breakdowns. Like that first section was on parliamentary procedure in the Brown Act. So you can think of those as the folders, or the modules, if you will, if you think about it in Canvas terms. So here's where you'd create a section. So go ahead and create a section. You can just give the title even just section 1. Or... Perfect. And then let's go ahead and create another section. Perfect. Okay. So here's where you see your action buttons are now connected to each of the sections, and you can do things like add training or add a note. So if you have information you need to give them about something, you can put some text in there as well. So let's go ahead and actually add training. And then go ahead and pick whatever, you can just grab like 3 different trainings. So let's make this goal, Shannon, to add 3 different trainings to both of the sections. And they can be completely random. You can just grab them. All right, so now you've set it up to where you have 2 sections. There's 3 trainings in section 1. And then go ahead and add some trainings to section 2 as well, or the part 1, sorry. Awesome. All right, so let's focus on, the first thing I want you to focus on is the numbers that you're able to edit on that left-hand side. So do you see how you have a spot where you can change the number for sections and you can change the numbers for the different items within it? Now, make all of those a 1. So change that part 1, change that to a 1 also. So what you're seeing right now with all of the 1s, that's exactly how my trustee curriculum is set up. Everything in it is a 1. What that tells the system is to treat everything as a first item. So essentially, they can go through this any way they want. They can go to any section they want first. They can go to any object within it. Now, if you change that back to a 2, it tells the system that that is the second section. And so you're telling the system that the user has to do everything in section 1 first before 2 will be available. That's how you tell it what the linear progression is if you want a linear progression. And that same thing is how you change the objects inside the section. So in your intro, you have 3 trainings and they're all set at a 1. And so that tells the system user can do that in any order. But if this was linear and you wanted it to where they had to do the 12 principles before the 15 secrets, you would change that then to a 1, 2, and 3. And that would tell the system that's the order that they have to be done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, all those check boxes, you want to go ahead and check those, like check the pay up front, the pre-approved, because essentially then you're telling the system, I want them to go ahead and be able to just take these in a row. They don't have to get special approval for each of these items. Yep, and then awesome. There you go. So when you check all of those, so I always make sure all of those boxes are checked as well. If you left that unchecked, again, it would, like if you didn't check the pre-approve, when they go to register for it or launch it, it would then have to get approval from the manager or whoever is in your approval routing. So you want to just kind of check all those. Awesome. So the way this is structured is you're telling the system that this user actually has to go through all of those items linearly. So, the user would not be able to launch the 3D and animation careers. The launch button won't even show until they complete the 15 secrets, which wasn't available to complete until the 12 principles. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So you definitely want to play around with those a little bit and just get used to how those numbers work. And if you did want people to be able to do it in any order, you just keep them all the same number. So that's the basics of setting up curriculums. Again, you have some other options that I suggest to play around with, like the ability to add notes. So if you had something that you wanted to explain to them about a training that's going to be added into there, you can add that. You can add a checklist in there. So this is getting used to creating curriculums. Takes a little bit of practice. I would suggest going into like your pilot or stage portal, so your practice portal, and kind of play around with those and see the difference in what happens with how the curriculum launches when you change the order sequence or when you add these notes, so you get a little familiar with what it looks like from a user perspective.
And you can still edit this after it's assigned, right? So like if you find an issue, you can still go in and change it.
Absolutely. Yep,
Which is cool.
You can absolutely go in and change it. When you do change the structure, so if you add a training or change a training in it, it will reversion the curriculum. So the curriculum will then show as a version 2, a version 3, you know, and so forth. So just note that if you're just changing like the description or title, it won't reversion, but it will reversion if you're training the substance of it. But reversioning is not a problem. Go ahead, Sally.
I'm puzzled by the auto register button. That's not going to get in the way of a, oh, that's a sign. I'm sorry, never mind.
So that works the same way as like when you're adding an instructor-led training. You know, when you add it under availability and you have those checkboxes that say pre-approve and then auto register, I think it's really important that the auto register in particular is checked, because if it's not, what happens is the user has to like request the training that then the manager approves, and then they have to go in again and actually manually register. It seems silly. It's like an extra step. But if the auto register is checked, then the system, upon approval, auto registers them.
Got it. Thank you.
So it's less, yeah, it's weird. Weird thing.
We'll have to check and see. I think ours might be off, but we don't have any approvals in place. So maybe that's why it says request on the button instead of register.
Request will always be on the button, the original button.
Then I think
yeah,
we're all set
that way.
then. Okay, then it's all set then.
We'll always keep
We're doing it right
now. Could
can I
get changed when I first launched.
What is the recurrence for at the top? Is that, you see the top part here where it says training? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So the recurrence is, so let's just imagine, is this a training that a user needs to take every couple years? So maybe this is a set of compliance trainings that have an annual or a biannual requirement. What we want to do is tell the system that this person it's okay that this person is assigned the same training over and over again. But there might be other trainings that we don't want people to be able to take again. So maybe it's a training that actually costs your college money for people to take, and you only want them to be able to take it once because you want other people to be able to take it as well. You can tell the system to limit someone to only take a training once. You can also tell the system to allow people to take it multiple times. Okay, so once you get the curriculum structured, you're really okay to save it if you want to save it to play around with it, or cancel and recreate, Shannon. You don't have availability on it, so no one will be able to access it anyway. So once you get the curriculum structured, then let's say this is a curriculum like your diversity, equity, inclusion curriculum that you're creating right now, and you want to then be able to assign that curriculum to your employees. So to be able to assign a training, you're going to use the learning assignment tool. So to get to that, you're going to go back to admin tools and then learning. And then we're going to get to the learning assignment tool. So, which looks like you've already used it several times.
These are a lot of Curricula's that she's been doing. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, then you're just going to go to create assignment. And remember as well, there's help guides throughout. So you have that show me button at the top. You have the question marks next to this. And remember, you can always click on the online help and it will take you directly to the online help page. because I do think, especially with learning assignments, there's so many options in here. I have to go back to the options a lot to remind myself what they are. So just always know that there's help in here. The very first one, the assignment type, is really valuable to kind of think through. So what this is that if it's a standard assignment, this assignment runs one time and it's done. So one and done. You're like, I have this group of people, I need to assign this to them right now, and that's it. That's how you'd use a standard assignment. A dynamic assignment is for things that are dependent on other things or something that is recurring. So for example, if you need to set up an assignment where like an onboarding training, let's say, where you need to have this certain training automatically assigned to people upon hiring. So like right when they get added to the system, then that's a dynamic assignment because it's an assignment that is continually processing. So in terms of that example, as a dynamic assignment, this assignment is going to continually look for any new employees and assign the training to them. Dynamic assignment is also valuable for recurrence. So like sexual harassment prevention training that we have to take every 2 years, you can set that up as one learning assignment that will continue to offer it on a recurring basis every 2 years. So that's kind of the difference between using standard and dynamic. Then you'll put the information in for the assignment. So the assignment title, assignment description. So you can just write test in there for now. I don't think we'll end up saving this. And then you tell the system, okay, well, what are we assigning? So here's where you select that. So if you created that curriculum, you would find the curriculum in the system, you would select it. And there you go. If you wanted to add a comment that would appear in their transcript history section, you could do that. I don't typically do it. And then you click next. So you can turn on dynamic removal. And so that's if this is a dynamic assignment. So essentially it's just saying if you had a training that was dynamically assigned for every manager or every faculty, let's say every faculty member, and then that faculty member moves into management, they would remove that training. It wouldn't be assigned to them anymore. That's what the dynamic removal is referring to. But the next one, so that's the training assignment workflow. So you tell the system whether they're assigned and approved, assigned, approved, and registered. This is that same conversation we had a minute ago with the auto registering and pre-approved. So typically I click that third box. And as a note, if you can actually use, and sorry, I'm going to give you a little kind of tip, but you can actually use the learning assignment tool to mark attendance for completed instructor-led training. So if you choose in that last item, the select training, if you chose a workshop that already occurred, you would have a fourth option in this box that said completed, and you could actually select that. So we use that for large roster submissions, like when we have 400 people sessions.
We did that last year when the Senate approved that everybody met their flex obligation. I actually used learning assignment for the 40
perfect.
hours or whatever it was, 35 hours of flex. So yeah, we used it for that. That worked great.
Very perfect. Then you've already, that's awesome. And the next box, you can say whether there's prerequisites that are required. And then the email settings is an interesting one. So you can use training specific emails, the custom emails, ad hoc emails, or no emails at all. I tend to use ad hoc emails a lot for curriculums. This is just where I'll say, like, you've been registered for blah, 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 blah curriculum. And then if you want to close out of that.
So this might be something people want to think about drafting in advance, like as you're preparing your curriculum, you'll want to know what emails you want sent.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. And then see that, like, send register training emails, you want to make sure that that is not on. You don't want them to get an individual email for every item within the curriculum. So if you enable that, it will actually send your regular registration emails. Like if you have 5 items in a curriculum, it'll send 5 emails to that. So like, you don't want that to happen. And then click next.
What I do like too about the curriculum, or I mean the assignment, is you can save a draft. So this is like kind
Yes,
of a multi-step kind of big piece. So like if you get to the emails and you're like, oh, I don't know what I want to write, you can save your draft and come back to your assignment. You don't have to go
exactly.
all the way through.
Yes, it's a very helpful feature. Okay, you click next. So then you're saying, okay, when do you want this assignment to be processed? So is this, like, do you want it to be processed daily, annually? And again, this is about that dynamic assignment. Processing start date. So do you want it to start now? Do you want to set it up now for it to process later? So again, thinking through what's the purpose of the assignment. And is there a due date on it? So if there's a due date on it, then also those, you set up your due dates of your training emails to remind them of due dates and such. So click through whichever you like, and we'll go to the next page. Okay, so now here's where you tell the system, who is this training for? So who are you assigning to?
Let me just put in one person for now.
And you can also upload users. So you can upload users through a CSV file. So if you have a whole bunch of users that you don't already have as a group in Cornerstone, you can upload them that way. I use the upload one when I'm using this to mark completion of training because it's just a random group of people. But typically you would use your OU structure. Then go ahead and click next. And here's where it gets to the whole overview of what you just did. So you have another opportunity to just double check that you set it up correctly. And I will tell you, with any learning assignment I do, the first person I assign it to is typically my other colleague in the PD office. So we assign training to each other. That way we can be each other's test case to double check that the email worked correctly and that the curriculum worked correctly as a user. So I do suggest when you first create a curriculum, assign it to another colleague that you can use as your test case to just make sure that, to double check what their experience is utilizing it.
Because then you can't go back in and edit the assignment once it's done, but you can copy it and then
You can copy
add
it,
more
yep.
users. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. So that's kind of
Any
the
questions,
overview.
folks? Anybody have any questions so far? We're good. It looks a lot scarier than it is.
It does. It's just a process, right? So you just kind of have to think about if you're using this structure, get all of the learning objects in so that they're all in the system. And then you create a curriculum by selecting the objects that you want, figuring out how you want it organized, and then use the learning assignment tool to assign it.
Cool. Perfect. And I think that was
All right.
everything we wanted to cover. So unless anyone has any questions, we're going to do the next one about the videos, which I think will be great. And that's in 2 weeks. Does anyone have any final questions for Kelly or anything you want to?
I'll just say thank you.
You're welcome.
Lots of food for thought, lots of work to do before we get to that point, but it's good to know how it's going to work because it helped me understand now like what I'm creating and where it's going to go.
Yes. Yeah. And when so here's something else to think about is that when you're creating and you're loading in items that are going to go in a curriculum, ask yourself whether those individual items should be available for people to register for as a one-off training, or are they intended to only be accessible in the curriculum? I find that a lot of times when I'm loading something specifically for a curriculum, it's meant to be a part of the curriculum and not something that it can be registered for on its own. So if that's the case, you don't put any availability on those items, because availability on the item means that the user can find just that item. Rather, you put it into a curriculum and the availability is on the curriculum, then they can only see it in the curriculum. So for example, we have a compliance training curriculum that is for, oh gosh, I can't remember what it's for. It's about the security reporting or something. And our chief of police wanted to start with a letter from him explaining the importance of it, followed by the training, and then followed by them linking to the form that they have to submit. So the curriculum was set up as a 3-step, but that letter from him should not have been an item that people could register for on its own, right? So then so I loaded that as a material with no availability on it, and then added it to the curriculum, and so that it was available from the curriculum.
Yeah, that's a good tip. There's probably gonna be elements of a lot of our curriculum that are gonna have that.
Yeah.
We don't want.
Yep.
Cool. Any other questions, folks? Cool. All right, so
All
I'll
right.
post this in the community. Thank you,